The question of war with Iran has now sparked a bit of a civil war among rival MAGA factions inside the Republican Party.
If Iran gets a nuclear weapon, I think the odds are unacceptably high that we would find out with a mushroom cloud.
The American people have been brainwashed into believing that America has to engage in these foreign wars.
But we most certainly need to have regime change in Iran.
The Bush-era doctrine of regime change wars in the Middle East is foolish.
We got a chance to end a threat to the state of Israel forever by replacing this regime with something better.
The same crowd at Fox all weekend has been sounding the war toxins. No, we have to make decisions that put America first.
This is good versus evil. You're either a patriotic American who's going to get behind the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, or you're not.
So that's just a sampling. You can tell they're not exactly in the same place with each other. So in less than a week, the Republican Party is MAGA part of the Republican Party, which is most of them, has basically torn itself apart over Trump's apparent willingness to go to war with Iran. Perhaps the best illustration of that rupture is what happened yesterday, when two of the most insufferable denizens of MAGA land, decided to debate each other on camera.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple?
How many people live in Iran?
92 million.
Okay. Yeah,
How could you not know that?
I don't sit around memorizing population tables.
Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant?
Because if you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay,
it's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country.
Okay, that was a part of a 2-hour interview, just to highlight, shall we call it? And I'm sorry you had to watch that, or I asked you to watch it. I do think, though, it's an amazing illustration of what Trump has done to his own coalition. As a side note, I have no doubt the staffer who scheduled that is no longer in charge of press interviews for Ted Cruz, maybe no longer working for him, I don't know. But what all of the infighting has brought to the surface is a real confusion about what Trump's worldview actually is right now among the MAGA faithful. I mean, remember, Trump's worldview is MAGA's worldview. They're just going to follow him. And right now, they seem to be having a hard time figuring out what to think or how far he's actually going to go. The reason this is striking, one of the reasons, is that most presidents have some sort of guiding view on foreign policy. You may not like it, you may disagree with parts of it, whatever it may be. But typically they have something that shapes how they see the world and America's role in it. But Trump doesn't really have that. His slogan, America First, which his party has tried to portray as some kind of coherent principle guiding his policy choices, it's not, it's a slogan. But just this weekend, Trump told The Atlantic magazine that only he gets to decide what America First really means. Only he gets to decide. That's kind of the point. He doesn't really care about the impact of his decisions, but he absolutely loves being the one who gets to decide. He loves to try and project strength that can be baseless. He likes to project it. Anything to make him look like he's winning. Because to him, this is all kind of a game. I mean, Trump has spoken to the American public about whether he's going to bomb a foreign country twice today. Now, the first time was in front of a bunch of construction workers. I'm sure they were surprised to be standing there at the installation of some new White House flagpoles. Yes, that was something he spent time on today. And with that very strange backdrop, with some probably very confused construction workers about why they were there for this, Trump was asked about whether he would take the very significant step of striking Iran. And here's what he had to say.
You don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do.
I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. This wasn't a question about what he was having for lunch or where he was planning to go on vacation. It was a question about whether he was going to use U.S. military resources to bomb Iran. Trump then followed that up with another media appearance where he fielded some questions about possible regime change in Iran. Well, and I am not making this up, sitting in front of an Italian soccer team who were also probably confused.
Mr. President, on Iran, if regime change does happen there, if the regime falls, do you have a plan for what you think would happen there?
I have a plan for everything, but we'll see what happens.
Do you think the regime there could fall?
Sure, anything could happen, right? Of that, sure, that could happen.
Regime change? Sure. Anything could happen. That from the guy who claimed he was going to keep America out of foreign wars, including the one he might start at any moment. I mean, we know Trump made clear to Prime Minister Netanyahu that he didn't want him to strike Iran, right? Up until he did strike Iran, or that's what the reporting tells us. I mean, literally hours before it happened, Trump also told reporters that he would, quote, love to avoid a conflict. So how did we go from there to a guy who is openly musing repeatedly about bombing Iran? Well, according to new reporting, this is basically the case of a weak and insecure Trump being manipulated by a number of predictable sources. Some of them foreign leaders, and some of them, yes, television networks. Yes, we were coming back to Fox News. But according to reporting from the New York Times, Trump came to believe the Iranians were playing him in the diplomatic negotiations. Basically, his ego was hurt. He thought he could just get a quick deal done with the Iranians years after he had ripped up the old one. But guess what? It's not that easy. The old one took years of negotiations. And at the same time, Prime Minister Netanyahu knew to stroke his ego. And he was telling Trump that he should prepare military plans as a backup to strengthen his hand diplomatically, while also briefing him on the complexity of Israel's plans, which he was impressed by, reportedly. Then by launching preventative attacks on Iran in defiance of the White House, according to reports, Netanyahu may have succeeded at backing Trump into a bit of a corner. I mean, as the Times notes, Netanyahu appears to have judged correctly that Mr. Trump would ultimately come around. So Netanyahu is betting that the United States will finish the job that he started. That's where we are now. And that effort seems to have gotten a big assist from the president's TV network of choice. As the Times also reports, when Trump woke up Friday morning, his favorite TV channel, Fox News, was broadcasting wall-to-wall imagery of what it was portraying as Israel's military genius. And Trump could not resist claiming some credit for himself. Here is just a sliver of what Trump may have seen in the hours and days after those attacks took place.
A lot of people saying that right now it looks like Iran has somewhat been humiliated.
Iran's concept of territorial security has just been obliterated.
Israel wouldn't have attacked if they didn't feel like the time is now.
They are executing at a level that any military in the world, I think, would be pretty envious of.
It's an extraordinary success.
It is in the United States' core national interest to help Israel destroy completely this nuclear enterprise.
Be all in, President Trump, in helping Israel eliminate the nuclear threat.
Do you think the president has decided already to strike Iran?
I hope so.
I hope so. I hope the president of the United States has decided to take military action against Iran, not in defense, but just proactively, along with Israel. I hope so. That's what he had to say, Hugh Hewitt. And Fox's drumbeat to war is apparently working. I mean, Rolling Stone reported late today that according to an administration official and another close associate of the commander-in-chief, Trump's heavy consumption of Fox News content is increasing his appetite for direct military confrontation with Iran. Just let that sink in for a second. The president of the United States is refusing to believe the assessments of the entire intelligence community and instead is listening to whatever talking heads on Fox have to say about this conflict. And those hot takes of the day could have already determined, maybe they have, whether or not the U.S. goes to war. As the Wall Street Journal reports, Trump has already approved attack plans for Iran, but is holding off to see if Tehran will abandon its nuclear program. Something, by the way, that Iran has ruled out publicly on multiple occasions. So look, there are certain moments when we are reminded why leadership matters in the Oval Office. I mean, the question of war and peace is certainly a big central, maybe the biggest one, of when to put American lives at risk. It's one of the hardest things that comes on the desk of any president. But this president treats the potential for war as a game. And he's taking his cues from Netanyahu and Fox News. This isn't a story, really, about some high-minded debate over what America first really means, or even about MAGA on MAGA disagreement. This is a story about an insecure kid watching TV and playing Battleship.